time to have a little bit of fun. So we all know the Cleveland Browns got a crowded quarterback room, and that is the main storyline in Cleveland this offseason. It'll be one of the top storylines across the entire NFL of how would this quarterback room end up shrinking, and then what would be the order of the depth chart. And it's way too early, so let's have some way too early fun. We are going to spend the next couple minutes before Mary Kay Cabot joins us talking about if we were Andrew Berry, how would that depth chart look going into week 1 of the regular season? I thought about this earlier today. I'm sure you put some thought into it. What would your Cleveland Browns quarterback depth chart look like?
Earl, you and I were not at practice on Wednesday when it was open to the media. You and I were not at rookie minicamp because we had a show. So I got to trust the people who were out there and what they said. And Zach Jackson, in my opinion, has been the most accurate quarterback evaluator in the city of Cleveland, frankly, more than anyone in the Browns facility over the last couple of years. They kept telling us Deshaun looked good. Zach said, I don't know what the heck you're looking at. He clearly does not. And Zach was right. So I'm going to go with what Zach said. He said Joe Flacco was hands down the best quarterback he saw in a Browns uniform on Wednesday, followed by Shedeur, Gabriel, and Pickett. And if my depth chart was today, yeah, I would start Flacco. If he wins a few games, then you let the magic ride. If he gets off to a slow start, I want to see one of the rookies in there by week 6 at the latest. And Jason said it today on the show, man, this season's about finding out whether or not Shedeur or Dillon Gabriel could be part of your long-term future. You need to see them play in real games to make that determination. G tried to tell us that if Flacco plays well, maybe the Browns can evaluate Shedeur just on practice. Maybe they could evaluate Dillon Gabriel just on practice, and that would be enough to keep him around long-term. That was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I love G, but we heard DTR looked great in practice for 2 straight summers, and he got into the NFL, played in real games, and could not look worse. 1 touchdown, 10 interceptions is the worst touchdown to interception ratio ever. You cannot solely judge a guy based off how he looks in practice. They need to get game reps, Earl. So if it was today, it's Joe Flacco, Shedeur, and Gabriel is my top 3. But come week 6, week 7, the Browns are off to a slow start. It better be one of those 2 rookies at the top of the depth chart. Better be.
It's crazy because me and you pretty much have the same depth chart. I don't see the Cleveland Browns carrying 4 quarterbacks on their roster. I think that when it's all said and done, I think Kenny Pickett is going to be the odd man out. I think when you look at the Kenny Pickett situation, the Browns did not pick up that 5th-year option. His contract is very favorable, and there will be a team that will present itself as a quarterback-needy team. You know, New Orleans is sitting right there, head scratching themselves about their quarterback situation. We all know injuries happen. And so I think with him being a former first-round pick, a guy that you can sail off as, well, he spent some time in Philadelphia, won a Super Bowl as a backup, you might be able to trade him probably for a 5th-round pick. If they that thirsty, you could get a 4th-round pick, and you can move on from there. Some other team gets a 1-year rental to evaluate and see if Kenny Pickett is somebody that they can keep on their roster long-term. I think Dillon Gabriel will be quarterback number 3. I think Shedeur Sanders starts the season as QB2, and I think the veteran Joe Flacco, who from everything we've heard, the arm still looks good. He has some familiarity with the playbook, and he's going to be the guy that will start the season. I think that despite Shedeur Sanders being a 5th-round pick, I think we all know that the talent was much, much greater than that. I think he fell to the 5th round due to the process, right? I think if I'm being totally honest with myself, when I look at the Dillon Gabriel situation, and it's just based off trusting the information I've heard from a guy like Zach Jackson, it feels a little Cade Yorkish, almost like an overreach for a position at a high value pick. Kind of like when we picked, I think we picked Cade in the 4th round that year. It was kind of like a reach in a position to where you could have got somebody else. And I think that's how this is going to end up playing itself out. I think that, you know, if Joe Flacco gets hurt, or if he struggles, then you get an early opportunity to evaluate Shedeur Sanders and you move from there.
I just hope that it's a genuinely honest QB competition. We could say right now on May 30th, Earl, Flacco looked the best, and Shedeur, Gabriel 2-3, Pickett 4, whatever. If Pickett goes out and balls and he's the best quarterback you throughout the camp and preseason, then Pickett should be the day 1 starter. If that's Shedeur should be the day 1 starter. If that's Dillon Gabriel should be the day 1 starter. If Gabriel outplays Shedeur, then Gabriel should be the 2nd quarterback on the depth chart. If Joe Flacco is your day 1 starter, who knows how it's going to unfold, right? Like we don't know what practice is going to show us, what we're going to learn. My one hope is that whoever actually performs the best on the field gets the opportunity to show that on Sundays, and it's not something built in. We have to put Dillon out there first because we drafted him higher, or we have to start Kenny Pickett because we traded for him. Let the play out. Let the quarterbacks show what they can do, and let the best man win. And I hope at the end of the day, that is the situation for Kevin Stefanski, for Andrew Berry, the entire Browns organization, because they got to get some answers on these young kids. And when it's their turn to play, I hope they're ready.